Hey everyone, I'm Chaz, and this is Con, and this is the New Balance Rebel V4, and this is my shoe review of it, and Con here is going to help me, maybe. Good morning, and welcome to my review of the New Balance Rebel V4. Got it on my foot right now. Sorry, it's dark. About to go take Con for a walk. And then I'm going to take this guy on its first run, which will be a very utilitarian run because I have to drop my car off at the service center, which is just over 5.5 miles from my house, almost exactly 9 kilometers. So yeah, it'll be a nice easy run back home before work, and I'll let you know how it is. I'm a couple miles into my run home. I just had to stop at the 7-Eleven here for reasons, but yeah, definitely in the first 16 minutes in this shoe, getting a very daily trainery vibe. I know the Rebel has always been kind of a fast-paced trainer. I've always kind of used it as a lightweight daily trainer. I think it's definitely still going to sit in that category. I'm going to enjoy talking about the differences between this and the previous versions. All right, I made it home. Actually, found a quicker way on the run, so I shortened the run to 5 miles exactly. Most of it was a gentle uphill though, which I didn't see when I mapped it out. Yeah. Like I said, halfway through, very daily trainery, but you know, once I got on the flats and the few downhills, it kind of wanted to pick up the pace on its own. I definitely think it'll be a little more protective on the downhills than previous versions of the Rebel were. I need to get quite a few more runs in this before I do a shoe talk though, so yeah, we'll see you after those. All right, as you can see in this little hammock I have in the back seat of my car, it's just a hammock that Con rides in, by the way. I've got a whole bunch of shoes that I am setting up for a shoe off with the New Balance Rebel V4. Among those are the Asics Novablast 3. Again, these have a lot of miles on them, if you've seen my last video about the Boston 12. The On Cloudsurfer 7, Cyclone Kinvara 14, the two previous versions of the Rebel V3 and the Rebel V2, the Topo Cyclone 2, and the Brooks Hyperion Max. And I basically brought all of these because they're light or light-ish weight daily trainers without a plate in them, which is kind of the same category as the Rebel V4 is. Very interested to see how it compares with these two, the two versions of the Rebel particularly, and the Topo, because you guys know I like that one. Well, really, I like all of these, so I don't know, whatever. We'll do a shoe off after I do a brief track run with Dave. So, as you may know if you watched my video last week, I just raced the Umstead Trail Marathon, so my legs are still a bit rubbery. I don't have any focused workouts this week, so I'm going to join with some of my friends' workouts. I'm going to do some short, but hopefully not too exhaustive track intervals with Dave this morning. Then I'm going to do a shoe off, and then tomorrow, in the rain possibly, I'm going to do some longer progressive intervals with my friend Lindsay, but none of them will be kind of a full effort workout. Just going to try and put these New Balance Rebel V4s through the paces. Okay, so I just finished Dave's run, just over 8 miles with a few 400s and 800s at Dave's 5K pace. I've got the stable set up here, and I think I'm going to start with the Novablast 3 versus the Rebel V4, since I ended with the Novablast 3 when I did the Boston 12 video. I don't know if it's that these Novablasts have so many miles on them or not, but they feel dead compared to the Rebel V4. The V4 just feels more responsive, more forgiving right now. I know a lot of people are comparing the Rebel V4 to the Novablast 4, which I don't have, and I don't know if I'm gonna get. My friend Anthony, who you've seen on videos if you follow my channel, tried both on at the store, said the Novablast were stiffer. He ended up with the Rebel V4. Alright, Novablasts are done. Up next is the Cloudsurfer 7. Cloudsurfer 7 on the left foot, Rebel V4 on the right foot. Let's see if I can talk while going up this hill here. So the Cloudsurfer 7 and the Rebel V4 feel a lot more similar than I expect them to. They both have a very comfortable roll-off. Knowing a little bit how the shoes work is kind of in my head. The Cloudsurfer, you can feel it's the structure of the shoe that lets it roll off so easily. The Rebel, I'm more convinced it's the property of the foam, as well as, you know, the nice shape of the rocker that lets it roll off. They both feel really good at this, whatever I'm doing here, 7:40 to 8-minute pace, maybe a little faster. The Cloudsurfer has a little bit more on the upper, so it's a little bit more comfortable for easy or casual wear, whereas the Rebel feels like it's a little bit more performance oriented. All right, that was kind of fun. Up next is the Kinvara 14. Kinvara 14 and Rebel V4. So in my 2023 superlatives video, the Kinvara 14 was the shoe I called the best value, as a lightweight, no-nonsense shoe that could do a variety of things. Compared to the Rebel V4, it feels a little firmer on foot. Again, firmness, softness, not trying to convey positive or negative, just a different experience. I feel like if you wanted a lightweight daily trainer that you would perhaps use as a racer or to do fast workouts in, the Kinvara is suited to that. The Rebel could do it as well, but the Rebel feels more like it could handle those daily miles a little more comfortably. All right, so yeah, I enjoy running in both of these. The Rebel V4, maybe a little more comfortable. This one, the Kinvara 14, maybe a little more performance oriented. Next, I'm gonna try the Rebel V3 and then the Rebel V2 after that one. Don't ask me why I grabbed the V3 first. Maybe it's because I like the V2 better, but we'll see. We'll get them both on foot. All right, Rebel, V3, V4. So the fuel cell foam in the first three Rebel versions is a supercritical EVA TPU blend that's really soft and kind of bouncy. Not exactly a super foam, but really soft. Comfortable to run in, especially in a lightweight shoe. I could take them for long distances, but they did kind of tend to bottom out after a certain amount of time on foot, just because of the softness of that foam and the smallness of the shoe. And in my first few runs in the V4, which is a PIBA EVA blend, 20% PIBA, 80% EVA, I was thinking, this doesn't quite feel as soft, it just feels different. And I don't know. Now that I run in them side by side, the V4 isn't firmer, but it does feel more stable. And that might have to do with the wider platform. So I like it better than the V3, I'll say that right now. But I also like the V2 better than the V3. We'll see how that stacks up next. All right, 4 down, 3 to go. All right, the next Rebel battle. All right, Rebel, V4 versus V2. Yeah, this settles it Rebel-wise at least. I like the V4 already. Better than the previous 2 versions. Probably better than the first version I had too. It just doesn't feel like it's gonna bottom out as much late in the run. So, yeah. All right, I don't think I'll be putting many miles in the Rebel 2 or Rebel 3 after having the Rebel 4 now. I think, well, at least this pair is probably ready for donation. Next, I'm gonna try the shoes that are more intended for workout days, the Topo Cyclone 2 and then the Hyperion Max, whereas the rest of these are kind of more lightweight daily trainers, I think. All right, we're gonna see how the Rebel V4 stacks up against the Topo Cyclone 2. For a lot of people, the Topo Cyclone 2 was a sleeper hit in 2023. For me as well. It's hard to beat that comfortable foot-shaped last and the full PIBA midsole. It's very flexible, great workout shoe. It feels lower to the ground than the Rebel V4. It also feels a little more energetic because of the midsole properties probably. That the Rebel V4 feels like it has a little more protection maybe. Whenever I would take the Topo Cyclone 2 for more than 90 minutes, I'd start to feel it. I feel some fatigue in the feet, even though I have that foot-shaped blast there. The Rebel V4 potentially could be a little more comfortable on foot after that 90-minute mark. I don't know, because I haven't done a long run in it yet. All right. One more, and that is the Hyperion Max. I can tell just walking around in these how different these are going to be. Anyway, last matchup, Rebel V4 and Brooks Hyperion Max. Okay, as you can probably tell, since I have talked about the Hyperion Max in other videos, the DNA Flash nitrogen infused supercritical EVA is pretty stiff. Makes it a great workout shoe, especially with the shape of the midsole. But it's pretty much anymore a fast day only shoe for me. If I'm gonna go bang out some reps and I don't want something with a plate in it, Hyperion Max. But if I want something forgiving that I could take on a base run and maybe pick up the pace a little bit, I can tell right now the Rebel V4 is a lot more suited to that. Has a lot wider wheelhouse. Done with the shoe off for the day. I think I just need to get a long run in these. I mean, I'll do another workout with Lindsay tomorrow, and then maybe a long run, and I'll have plenty to talk about. Of course, I've done a lot of talking already, so hopefully the shoe talk won't be too long. All right, it's shoe talk time. Now, I did a lot of talking about the New Balance Rebel V4 while I was doing A/B testing with 7 other shoes, so I'm not going to talk too much about it now that I haven't already said while on the road. Since then, I've taken it for a couple more runs, including a workout in the rain
where I had quite a few miles at various paces in the rain, and I'm happy to report that the wet traction is very good. Also, I was able to stay pretty dry because this midsole, it's not like one of the thick boy midsoles, but it's tall enough to keep me out of the puddles. Although I did submerge my feet in a couple of deep puddles, and the upper is very breathable and very airy and was able to drain water quickly, so I never really had waterlogged or soggy feet. So the wet traction is good, and if you know me, or if you run with me, you know that wet traction is something that I place a high value on. Midsole properties, as I have already said on the run, this midsole is a new compound of fuel cell. It is a blend of 80% EVA and 20% PIBA. You get a little bit of that bounciness from the PIBA properties. It definitely feels more like EVA as it would, because it's mostly EVA, but it doesn't feel dead like a lot of compression molded EVAs do. There's nothing wrong with EVA. If it's tuned right, then it works just fine. I think we've gotten spoiled by a lot of shoes that have full PIBA in them, like the racers or some of the lightweight trainers. Anyway, get a little bit of a bounce. It's not super cushy where you set in and then have to dig yourself out, nor is it really firm where you're just getting the response from not really compressing the EVA and just kind of bouncing off of it as if you were off of a hard surface. There's a little bit of a bounce. It's also got a little bit of a flex. One of the shoes I was not able to compare it with because I didn't buy it was the Hoka Mach 6. I did try the two on side by side in the store at Charlotte Running Company, and I went with the Rebel because it was a little lighter on foot and it had a little bit more give, a little bit more bounce to it, and I just kind of liked the way it was rolling better. The Hoka Mach 6 still seems like it's an awesome shoe, and if you want a direct comparison of this with the Hoka Mach 6, I highly recommend you see Yowana's video. I'll try and add that in the description, a link to his video, where he directly compares the Rebel V4, in this color actually, and the Hoka Mach 6. Anyway, what I'm gonna compare this shoe more directly to is, I brought 3 of the shoes that I was testing it with earlier out of the 7. There is the On Cloudsurfer 7, the Saucony Kinvara 14, and the Topo Cyclone 2. I would really say that the Rebel V4 kind of fits comfortably between the Cloudsurfer 7 and the Kinvara 14 as far as form and function. The Cloudsurfer 7, it's not a heavyweight shoe, it's lighter than most trainers, but it just rolls nice and easily. It's a good base day shoe. Also looks good. It's good for bebopping around town, and it's probably going to last a while because of the firmness of that Helion foam, but it rolls really well because of that cloud phase technology that you see compressing. The Kinvara 14 is going to be a little bit firmer. It's still what I would call a daily trainer, but it skews more towards the performance. You get that firm response. It's the Power Run Plus. No, it's just Power Run, not Power Run Plus. It's Power Run midsole. That's pretty much all there is underfoot. And that's also EVA. Like I said, there's nothing wrong with EVA. It's tuned right for this shoe. The Rebel V4, it could do some of those performance-based runs like the Kinvara would, but it can also, I dropped my other shoe, handle those easy days like the Cloudsurfer really well. It kind of crosses over. One thing I think I would take this out that I wouldn't take the Kinvara for, or the Topo, is a long run. When I say long run, I'm talking 90 minutes or more. For me, that's going to be 11 or 12 miles and up. During peak marathon training, I might be doing 10 or 11 miles every day, so long runs depend on what I'm training for. Anyway, it's not going to really bottom out like the previous versions of the Rebel did. I don't have those in hand because I already have them in the bag for donation. But while it's not going to be quite as lively and flexible on a workout day like the Topo Cyclone 2, it's not going to bottom out. Would I take it for 20 miles? Maybe. I think I have better shoes that I would take for 20 miles. I might even want something with a plastic plate in it for that, but I need it. This could certainly do the job. And if you're someone who doesn't buy a whole lot of shoes, then this might be sort of like the Boston 12, but in a different way. This would be something that you could get for those base days, but also wear for those workout days, whether you're doing road intervals. I did some road intervals on this, including a few reps in the sub 530 range. Or whether you're going to the track. Going to the track, you can wear almost anything because the track does a lot of the favors for you. But yeah, I think as far as a shoe that is lightweight, if you don't want to carry a whole lot around, if you want to travel with something, especially in this color, this is a good, going around town color. And just be able to do a whole bunch of runs with one pair of shoes, then this is worth considering, the New Balance Rebel V4. I like the changes they've made to the midsole compound. It's a little bit more tame, but still retains some of that bounciness. I didn't think it would until I tried them side by side. It's still got the fun factor in there. And I like the geometric design. I know a lot of people like that. I'm not alone in that. Can see a little bit of creasing of the midsole, but that's because EVA does that. And also, PIBA does that. PIBA looks like it gets beat up really quickly. But this shoe doesn't feel beat up. And I ran in a rainstorm today and it looks great. I didn't even really have to clean it much. You can take the sock liner out. That allows it to dry out really quickly. Yeah, good fit. I've got room in the toe box. That was a problem with the Rebel V3. I didn't have a lot of room in the toe box in that one. This is true to size for me. I wear a men's 9.5 in all New Balance and in most shoes. So yeah, true to size, plenty of room, but I'm not swimming in it either. So yeah, a lightweight jack of all trades, the Rebel V4. That's what I think. Hope you enjoyed my shoe talk. Thanks for sticking around. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and ding the bell for notifications. That's your LSD, and LSD is good for runners. The long, slow distance kind, not the other kind. I'll see you on the next run.